Welcome to the Stateless Codecast. This is episode number 53 of our series, nerddice.com, where we create a tabletop role-playing management application using Ruby on Rails. And we are in the process of trying to upgrade our app from Rails version 7.0 to Rails version 8.0. And we've completed the first two parts of this. So the first video has a longer, more extensive introduction about what we're trying to achieve here. And then in the second video, we worked on upgrading Tailwind from major version 3 to major version 4. That was tricky, as you would know if you've watched the video. The rest of the dependencies I'm hoping to update in this video, and then depending on how much pain is associated with updating those dependencies other than Rails, we may or may not take a look at upgrading Rails from 7.0 to 7.1 in this video. So I'm going to start by looking at our Gemfile here. So we've got Rails pinned to the latest version of 7.0, and we're going to take a look now at the different things that have gem versions specified in our Gemfile and see what we've got on Rubygems in terms of updates. So I've already kind of done this, so we'll take a look. Puma is now at 6.6. Our Gemfile specified 5.0. We'll see. Doing bundle update from 5.0 would still update you to 6.6. In fact, I might have, we'll see what we've got in our Gemfile for Puma right now. We've got 5.6.7, so this would be a major version upgrade for Puma. Devise we're running 4.9.0, I think. This is version 4.9.4 is out, so I don't expect any changes. Hopefully Devise will work with with Rails 8. I haven't tested that yet, so we will upgrade this to 4.9.4. And continue on. So that's just a search. PG is currently at 1.5.9. We'll just make that 1.5. We'll keep the specification, at least for now, at that minor version level. So continue on there. Tailwind CSS Rails we've already updated. We'll make sure that we're 4.2.2. We'll keep it at 4.2. These gems I hope to be able to remove once we upgrade to the next minor version of Rails. We'll keep trying to remove them from the Gemfile. They were added just so I could get Ruby 3.4 working with Rails 7.0. So continue down. And then we have two more here, symbol cov, lcov, and coveralls reborn, which are, that's still at 0.8, and then coveralls reborn is at 0.28. So we'll see about upgrading that. Save that Gemfile. There's one more issue that we've run into a few times here. Concurrent Ruby will probably try to upgrade to 1.3.5. that is continually not working with Rails 7.0. So I'll likely just kind of hack the Gemfile.lock itself to 1.3.4 if it updates and things don't work. But we'll go from there. I'm going to try the command now, just so that, actually, before I try that command, taking a look at the upgrading Ruby on Rails guide here. So it notes here that the good idea to upgrade to the latest Ruby you can first, which we've already done, and then upgrade Rails. And before upgrading Rails, we're going to make sure that the other dependencies are upgradable kind of apart from Rails. An important part of this is writing and having good tests. I'm confident that we've got that. The functionality we've got so far is mostly just the Devise set of things that you can do. And we've got extensive system integration tests with that we've been running each step of the way here. So I'm going to attempt a bundle update here. I'll hit clear. So that changed. A lot of different dependencies. And we've got a post install message here. Changelog and upgrade guide for more on Hotwire and Turbo integration. I think should be good there, because we had to put a hack in place back before Devise 4.9 came out to deal with the fact that it wasn't supporting Hotwire and Turbo integration. So that was already taken care of. We had a hack in place. We decommissioned that hack. Those are all videos that are available on this playlist. RubyZip 3.0 is coming. Public API is changing. Let me see what version of RubyZip we're currently running. .4.1, and that's only a dependency for the Selenium WebDriver gem. So I think we're good to, let's see what happened with concurrent. .3.5. I'm just going to proactively move that back to 1.3.4 and run a bundle install. All right. We'll hit clear here and see if we can run our test suite. It's looking promising. All right, our test suite succeeded. We'll run bin dev here. Make sure that the app boots up and everything there is looking relatively good. So we are good with our tests. We have likely upgraded RuboCop, and RuboCop loves to hit you with those ex post facto violations. So I'm also going to, I held back the Ruby version in my RuboCop.yml file to 3.2 back when we upgraded to Ruby 3.4. And that's because we were still running an older version of the RuboCop gems. So now we'll add that in. My guess is we'll get a deprecation warning about require. So in the Nerd Dice Ruby gem, I recently came across the issue with regard to updating RuboCop, and we had some deprecation warnings that we were supposed to change require, I think, to plug in. Let me see what we did in rubocop.yml there. That is the wrong year. 3.3. This is the year. So we can see here require, we're going to change that to plugins. We'll preemptively avoid that deprecation warning. And we'll try to all right, 3 offenses detected, all of which are auto-correctable. Use find by instead of where.take. Find each instead of each. Okay, we'll try all these. Autocorrect that. All right, no offenses detected. We changed our tests, so we will rerun our tests to make sure that they are still passing. All in all, we will call that a fairly benign RuboCop upgrade in terms of violations. And see our diff here. So we just made those changes to RuboCop. We made the changes to the Gemfile ourselves. Gemfile.lock is going to have a lot of different things in here. This is our tests. So we can see here the find by instead of where. And then the class name in that test helper. So we will make a separate commit for this before we start dealing with Rails. So we'll do git add dot git commit. All right, we've got our commit message here. We'll save and close it. Push to the remote. The non-Rails dependencies went smoothly enough that I'm going to also attempt to upgrade from Rails 7.0 to 7.1 in this video. So while our build is occurring on GitHub, our GitHub action, let's take a look at the upgrading guide here. So we're going to take a look at upgrading from Rails 7.0 to 7.1. And this is by far the longest of the 3 that we've got on our plate in terms of what shows up in the Rails guide for upgrading. So for 7.2 to 8.0, there's just a link to the release notes. For 7.1 to 7.2, there's one item here that we need to be mindful of. And then from 7.0 to 7.1, in addition to what we've got in the release notes, which are extensive, we have 13 different items here. So I'll just kind of go through and enumerate some of them. So the secret base key has changed. We do have a secret key base for development and test, so we'll have to take a look at that when we do our upgrade. Auto load paths are no longer in the load path. I don't expect that to impact us. We don't have anything in our lib directory yet. Similarly, config auto load lib and auto load lib once. I think we can just stick with the new defaults on those. Active storage base controller no longer includes the streaming concern. I don't think that'll impact us. Connection pooling by default, I think we can be fine with. The SQLite adapter now uses strict strings. We're using Postgres. We will wind up using SQLite for when we get into Rails 8, the kind of the solid trifecta of solid queue, solid cable, and can't remember the other one off the top of my head. We'll get there. But so I think we're fine taking that new default. Multiple preview paths. I don't think we have any mailer previews that are going to be broken by that. Raise on missing translations. I don't think we've got translations yet in our see, it's in our gemfile.lock. Oh, we do have a couple. So Devise shared error messages, development, okay, so we will have potentially to look at that when we upgrade. Rails test now runs the test prepare task. That's handy. Rails UJS, I don't think we're using because we've got Turbo. Rails logger now returns a different instance. We don't have anything that would break from that. Encryption algorithm changes. So we do have our Devise stuff, but we don't have any data that we care about. So I would be fine just doing in my development environment, a Rails DB drop, Rails DB create, Rails DB migrate to get around that. And then new ways to handle exceptions in controller tests, integration tests, and system tests. And in terms of how it's rescued, I don't think we have anything that will be impacted by that either. So let's take a check back in on our build. It succeeded. We'll check off our checkbox for the previous one. Now let's take a look at 7.1 in our actual repo. So we've taken a look at the notes. Let's see what the latest version of 7.1 is. We'll set that in our Gemfile. This is Tailwind CSS Rails. We want Rails. Take a look at our releases. Seven 7.1.5.1 seems to be our latest one. So we'll change Rails here. In our Gemfile. To 7.1.5. We'll run bundle update. Now we're going to take a look. I think the bin Rails upgrade task would be the next thing we want to do. Go back to the general procedure here. Between versions, we do not have JavaScript packaging. We use import maps. And we'll run the update task. So bin Rails app update. We'll see how that goes for us. Hit clear here. Got a conflict in application.rb. So yes, overwrite. No, don't overwrite. Overwrite this and all others. We'll hit D to show the diff here. Auto load lib. That looks fine. Looks like it's just getting rid of comments. I think we can go with yes on that one. Take a look at the diff here. Active job verbose and queue logs. Cache classes. False. All right, we're going to need to keep our action mailer, most likely. There we go. Copy that. I don't think we're hurt by anything else there, so we'll overwrite. Add that back in. Continue to the next one, take a look at the diff. All right, that's related to logger stuff. This is, see if there's anything I care about preserving here. I think I'm okay with overwriting that. We've got in our test, cache classes goes away. And we will return back the test mailer stuff after. Everything else we're okay to overwrite. Content security policy. Those are just comments. We'll be fine overwriting those. Filter parameter logging. It's just a change in formatting to use symbols, it looks like. Permissions policy. Okay, we just got rid of some commented stuff there. We'll take the new version. Been set up. I'll take the new version of that. After this, check Rails upgrade guide. More details about upgrading your app. So we'll take a look at our status now. See, we've got the new framework defaults. Have some new migrations with regard to active storage. And then we'll take a look at our diff in a little bit more user-friendly way. Good with that. All of our changes to the gemfile.lock. Okay, we're good with that. Those are just commented. We will now let's take specifically a look at the new framework defaults here. All right, I'm gonna see where we are before we mess with any of the defaults here. We'll rerun our tests. All right, all of our tests still pass. Log in, sign up. Back to the home. So that all seems to be working. Now I'm going to go through the framework defaults. I'm actually going to leave this commented, and just since we don't have a ton of code associated with it, I'm just going to try to do config.load accounts for load defaults for 7.1 and see whether anything breaks there. And then if it does, then we'll kind of go back and be a bit more granular about it. Was a misclick. Going to see what happens here. That seemed to work fine. Redo our sign up pattern here. confirmation. Sign in. Manage account. Cancel account. All that worked. So I think we're good. We can just, now that we've got the defaults for 7.1, I think I can just delete this file. And everything else is just a migration or already part of our diff. I think we can, we'll RuboCop might not like how we modified the configuration file, so we'll see what's going on there. 18 detected, 14 are auto-correctable. We'll auto-correct our auto-correctable ones. All right, now we've got 3 left. Missing top level documentation comment, block length, and skips model validations. And I'm just going to, for all of these, we'll RuboCop disable and RuboCop enable is, I think, is how I'm going to go about these. I'm going to ignore the ones that are in the framework default files. They'll probably get overwritten the next time we do the run the upgrade task anyway. So this is just so that when I push the commit to the repo, that my GitHub action will pass. So I originally wound up going with the adding a comment here and saying RuboCop disable and then RuboCop, this should be enable, the particular rule there. I'm actually going to just undo this, return it back to its previous state so that it's not modified from how it was generated. And then for each of these violations, I'm going to update the rubocop.yml file to exclude the different violations here. So skips model validations, I'll exclude that specific migration file. And then down here, style documentation, I need to change that. I copied that from down here. I need to actually have it set to the correct path here, which is there. And then finally go and add config environments to the excluded paths for block length. We will try rerunning RuboCop now. And no offenses detected. Just for the sake of completeness, we'll rerun our tests and we're good. So our 3 new migrations are here. We've reviewed the diff. RuboCop is resolved. Tests are passing. Time to write the commit message. So here's my commit message. I'll save that, close out of it. and push to the remote. While the build is running, I'm going to draw the attention to an item here in the release notes. So Docker files, stuff like that, you can see is not yet generated in the repo. And I'm not going to, even though Docker files were enabled in 7.1, I'm not going to create the Docker file now and then upgrade that from 7.1 to 7.2 and 7.2 to 8.0. So, but I do want to remember to do all that stuff. So I'm going to set a new subtask here. So got that there. Let's see how our build is doing. Still running. Going to presume upon a successful build here and save that. My presumption was warranted, so our build has succeeded. We are now running Rails 7.1. So in subsequent videos, I might go from 7.1 to 7.2 to 8.0 all in one video, or I might split it into two. We'll see how it goes in the upcoming videos. If you want to catch those upcoming videos, be sure to hit subscribe. And if this video was helpful to you, hit that like and feel free to engage with us in the comments section. If you have any better ways of doing any of this, feel free to let us know. We always want to get better. So thanks for watching, and thank you for attention. Code along on an end-to-end journey through the creation, design, and development of a Ruby on Rails application for managing tabletop role-playing games. We start from Rails new and will guide you along the journey of the entire lifecycle of the application. You'll get to see real-life, real-world problems and challenges as we try to deliver value for our users. Visit statelesscode.com to level up. Welcome to this Stateless Codecast. This is episode number 53 in our series nerddice.com, where we do an outtake.
At the stateless code.
Nerd dice.